Welcome, everyone, and thank you for tuning into the Art of Inspiration podcast. Napoleon Hill stated that desire is the starting point of all achievement. Having a strong understanding of exactly where you want to go in your life is crucial in order for any dream to become a reality. In my last episode, I talked about becoming extremely clear on what it is that we want in our lives. Having that vision, that clear vision, is going to be the first step in driving forward towards that dream. One of the things that I've always struggled with in my life, once I got that dream and I became very clear on what I wanted, was consistency. I've told my listeners more than once that throughout my lifetime, I've had a lot of different great ideas, but these are ideas that I never really followed through on. The reason I never followed through is I was unwilling to sacrifice the person I was in order to become the person that I wanted to be. What I wanted to be really was an overnight success. I didn't want to put in the work. I could do a little bit, and that little bit was always the fun stuff. It was the easy stuff. It was me talking to a bunch of my friends, telling them about this great idea that I had and how I was going to be rich and famous. And to say the least, most of these ideas, they fizzled out really quickly. Why? Because I could easily talk the talk, but I never wanted to walk the walk. When it came down to it, I didn't want to sit in on a Saturday night while my friends were out partying. And when I was done with my job, which at the time was being a massage therapist, I didn't want to do any more work. When work was done, it was time to sit down, crack open a beer, and relax. Even when I started this podcast, I went all in at first. I was working close to 60 hours a week at my day job and then coming home and working all night. And you know what? It felt good. It felt great because I was driving towards my dream. At the same time, I felt like I was slowly burning myself out. But I had desire. I had a desire because I made it real. I read my goals out loud. I envisioned them. But then one day I just stopped. I had a lot of things going on in my life, and they were all good things. I bought my first home for me and my wife. I got promoted at my job, and I was finalizing my wedding plans. With all of this going on, the art of inspiration kind of took a back seat to the rest of my life. So 2 things happened here. 1, I stopped being consistent. By consistent, I just don't mean writing content and recording episodes for the podcast. I mean I lost consistency in all aspects. I stopped reading my goals. I stopped visualizing. My morning routine began to fall apart. Now, keep in mind, I had a lot of great things going on in my life, and this ultimately made me feel comfortable. I had a good career, good income, had a great new home, and an amazing woman that I was getting ready to marry and spend the rest of my life with. And then came the second part. I lost my desire. That happy, comfortable place that I was in contributed to me really losing the drive. My podcast wasn't taking off like I thought it would, and I had all this other stuff going on, so it just kind of slowly faded away. So what do we take home from all of this? First, your consistency and persistence towards a singular goal are just part of the puzzle. You need to learn to bring consistency to every aspect of your life, especially your mind and body. If one of those things begins to falter, everything begins to fall apart. It wasn't just that I stopped writing. I stopped all the other things I was doing to make myself better. I skipped my workouts. I skipped meditation sessions. And I just let my whole life kind of just take a pause, and all this other stuff would just take off and take over what I was trying to do in the first place. So if you think those things have nothing to do with your success in life, I highly advise you to go back and really rethink that whole process, because your mind and your body, how you take care of yourself, will start to trickle into every other aspect of your life. What good is being highly successful if you're unhealthy and constantly sick? And what good is having everything you want in your life if your mind is still breathing negative thoughts every single day? You're never going to find happiness that way. Secondly, your desire, your drive. No matter how driven you are, your willpower is a finite resource. To be realistic, no matter how positive you are, no matter how driven you are, from time to time, your fire is going to go out. Even myself as a motivational speaker, sometimes I just lose my drive. Sometimes I just don't want to get up and go to work. Monday morning when the alarm clock goes off, I hate getting up. And sometimes I don't want to get up and run or go work out. It's normal. I'm a human being. So what do? The key difference for me is something that I learned in my studies of highly successful people. I've learned that human beings have two primary driving forces in their life. We innately seek pleasure, and we also avoid pain. Of these two drivers, the innate instinct to avoid pain is by far the stronger. And this holds true for both mental and physical pain. So what does it all mean? It means we have that vision board. We read our goals, we feel them, we want them, we truly desire them. It brings us pleasure to get closer to them. But then what happens when we lose that drive one day? That's when we need to flip that entire concept upside down on its head and force ourselves to have a shift in our mindset. And what's that shift? That shift is to ask yourself, what is the price of not achieving my dream? What is the price I am going to pay for not living life on my terms? What is the price I will pay for not being where I want to be financially, mentally, and physically? Maybe it means you can't take care of your parents the way that you would love to. Maybe it means you can't be there to watch your kids grow up because you spend your days working in a job that never truly satisfies you. Maybe it means your dream of traveling the world will never be anything more than just a dream. We have one life to live. We can either have the life we've always dreamed of or a dream that never came to life. You have to want your dream so bad that every single day it kills you not being there. That is the kind of drive that will bring you through anything. So when your desire begins to fade, when we lose the energy and the motivation to put in the extra work, ask yourself, am I willing to pay the price for not having what I want? Or will I go after my dream? And the answer is simple. We will never stop. We will never slow down. We will never lose the vision. What will we do? We will rise up. We will find meaning in our work, love in our heart, and the unstoppable force that lies within the human spirit. And we will never stop climbing. I will see you guys at the top. Stay inspired.